It's interesting times that we live in. I just wondered, you've got an interesting position there. What do you think that the EU is making of all this?
Well, I was in the chamber this morning and I spoke almost after Nigel Farage and agreed with everything he said. There was a totally different atmosphere in the chamber today. We saw the letter that came from Tusk and Juncker the other day, and you can see that they're acquiescing. They're now giving way. I think in the next couple of days, May will win her vote this evening. Then she'll hot-foot it like a rat up a drainpipe over to Brussels on Eurostar, and she'll meet with Barnier and co. And what they'll give her is, I think that they'll give her a end date for the backstop. I think that's in the offing, and I think also she'll say there's no time for this deal, we need to extend Article 50, and that message came across very strongly in there. We had Timmermans, who's usually very, very bombastic, very quiet, very conciliatory. Barnier, who's a gentleman actually, is very conciliatory, and I was even agreeing with Guy Verhofstadt today, which I've never done in my life, about he was talking about our parliament and how they're totally split, that they're not representing the will of the people. And that's where we are here. They're laughing and they're exasperated at what's going on in the UK. They're exasperated and laughing at Mrs May. And she's got to get her act together, because if she doesn't come back from Brussels on Monday with Plan B, then there'll be another vote of no confidence. And we don't know where that goes, and I certainly don't want a terrorist supporting Marxists marching into number 10.
Janice, there's a sense that, I think throughout this, the build-up, the 2.5 years of trying to organise a deal, that the UK was vulnerable and the EU looked, pretty much in a strong position whatever happened. I just wondered, are there nerves in EU headquarters that there could actually be a no-deal Brexit? Are they worried about that? Do they feel vulnerable? Oh,
yes. Absolutely, because don't forget, this place basically closes in mid-April. We have an April session here, and then they go off onto the campaign trail into the EU elections. How can they tell their electorate that their biggest trading partner is not going to have a free trade deal with them, that they haven't managed to negotiate, and their voters are going to punish them. So that is a real threat, and that is coming across very clear today in the chamber this morning. So I think if May comes back and she actually grows a bit of stature about her and starts acting like a Prime Minister who is representing a majority of Remain people, of 17.4 million people, and she comes in here and she tells them what she wants. She's never come here and she's never told them what she wanted, what we want, the British people. And they're open to negotiation now. I can tell that Tusk, Barnier, Timmermans, they're all open to discussion, and I think it's all to play for. So she needs to go in there, and if she wants to win that vote on Monday, she has to get a date to that backstop. I prefer we just walk away on the 29th of March. I want to go to World Trade Organization rules. I don't want a deal. I think it's a rotten deal, but I think that's the only way that she can shift some of those Tory voters, those Tory MPs to vote for her. And where's Labour on this? We have no idea where the Marxist stands on this. Even if he wins the vote of no confidence this evening, which he isn't going to do, because Turkeys are not going to vote for Christmas and they're not going to go down as the Conservative party that brought the Marxists into number 10. He's got no clear attitude, policy on how he's going to campaign if we go into a general election. So, where does Labour stand on this? Nobody knows. They're more split than the Tory party.
I'm just wondering, Janice, if things take a further turn south, let's say we lose Theresa May as Prime Minister, there's a general election, how damaging would that be for the people who voted Brexit and are hoping it will happen soon?
I think they'll be very, very angry because they placed their trust in Mrs May in 2017. OK, she didn't get an overall majority, but they did place that. And the electorate, over 80% of the people voted for the parties to deliver Brexit. So I think it will be very, very damaging. And the Leave voters will be very, very angry. Now, what I fear, if we do go into a general election, and I don't think a general election is in the offing, but what we might find is that if they call, it depends on if they call it for or another people's vote. General election, you decide. That may be on the ballot paper, but that's basically what we'll be deciding. And I think our side will be so motivated to come out and vote. And so will the other side. So I think it will be a furious and nasty, bitter battle, which actually the UK can really do without at the moment. So what I would recommend is we just go to WTO rules. We've got America, Australia, our Commonwealth cousins, just queuing up to do free trade deals with us. You know, there's a big wide world out there. 93% of all world trade is done outside of the EU. Now, we're in a strong negotiating position, so I think all this talk of general elections is just ridiculous. We're in a very, very strong negotiating position. Get on that train, Mrs May. You tell them in here exactly what we want, and I bet you they'll deliver it.